Hello and welcome along, everybody, to the beautiful city of Shanghai for the fourth stage of Global Champions. I must say that it is such an honor and a privilege, personally and professionally, to be working in such a venue, arguably the biggest sporting complex that we will see throughout the entire season here in Shanghai. My name is Mark Lewis. Welcome to GCTV and welcome to Global Champions League Day. What makes today so special? Well, a handful of things, but first and foremost, this is the first time that we've been back on Shanghai soil since the 2019 Global Champions season. Even more so, the last five-star event that took place here in Shanghai was Global Champions back in 2019. Shanghai has been waiting for us. We have been waiting for Shanghai. And finally, those two wonderful brands of Shanghai and Global Champions can come together once again for stage 4 of the 2024 season. We're going to be taking a look at this wonderful city, this wonderful venue, and talk to the home team, of course, as Daniel Deusser gives us more information. We'll flash back to Mexico and remind you as to what the standings look like in the Global Champions League after this wonderful run from the Prague Lions, powered by the Czech equestrian team. Great news is that Frederik de Backer has come to join us on site. So we'll make most of that. And Rosie Tapner, of course, alongside us as usual. And we will meet the first ever Chinese rider selected on a Global Champions League team. So that and more, all coming up later on today here on GCTV. But for now, let's start with this incredible city and allow Rosie Tapner to tell us more about Shanghai.
Welcome to the JUS International Equestrian Centre, and for the first time in 5 years the GCL is back in Shanghai in a brand new venue located in one of the most exciting parts of the city. This is the World Expo Cultural Park. With around 25 million people, Shanghai is the city that never sleeps in Asia. We're in the Pudong district, which was once an industrial area, but in 2010 it hosted the world's largest exhibition in history. 7 years later, and it was transformed again to which is now the World Expo Cultural Park, a really unique and modern area full of museums and gardens, and the financial district, which is known for its record-breaking skyscrapers. 5 years ago, the event took place just around the corner, but this year sees a huge upgrade. I wonder what the home team have to say about it. Let's go and see who we've got up here. It's only Daniel Deusser here. Hey Daniel, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good, thank you. You were here 5 years ago, but in a different venue. What's it like to be back?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm really excited to be back in Shanghai here. It's not comparable to 5 years ago. It's a totally different venue. It's a new stadium here. If you see here in the background, it's a fantastic new place, and I'm really excited for the sport here this week.
You are the home team. You are Shanghai Swans. How are the team feeling ahead of the GCL?
I don't want to promise too much, but I have actually a very good feeling this weekend. It's only Pios and me today. We have only 2 riders here. I brought 2 horses that jumped very consistent lately. Pios brought 2 horses which have jumped very well on that level before. And no, I'm looking forward for tomorrow and hope that the crowd will be behind us and we can absolutely give them back the expectations that they have.
5 years ago, you had really good results here as well, so you know what it takes to jump in Shanghai. But for those of us who don't know, why is it so different here?
I think it's just a little bit the atmosphere. First of all, the people are really behind the riders. They really basically jump with the riders on the stands. A lot of people here, very good atmosphere, and like I said, I really expect some exciting classes here in the next 2 days. If
you win, if it all goes really well this weekend, surely it means you've got to celebrate by going out and seeing the city.
Yes, we will definitely do that.
So Daniel Deusser doesn't want to promise too much, but he does tell us that he and Piers Switzer have a really good feeling as to how things are going to go for the Shanghai Swans today. They've had a disappointing start to the season. So if they need to turn it around, if they are to turn it around, doing it here this weekend is going to be the first step to get that season around. I do have a feeling that Frederik de Backer might rank them quite highly. He joins us now, and again, as I say, excited, back on site. Frederik, inside this wonderful arena here, great to have you back on board. Let's talk talk favorites. Daniel Deusser is excited. I wonder if the Shanghai Swans make it onto your list. Who have you identified to look out for this weekend?
Well, with this Chinese castle, Chinese palace behind me, Mark, I do think that Shanghai Swans are one of the favorites on the start list. And we're talking, of course, about GCL round 1. Remarkably, I don't have Prague Lions, the championship leaders, on my favorites list, so that's a little bit of a surprise. Calvino de Nijse yesterday had a refusal and Thibaut Spitz fell off. And Peter de Vos is here with a fairly new horse that hasn't jumped at this level, not in GCL so far, so they're not on my favorites list. So who is? Well, we spoke already about the Shanghai Swans. We can easily speak about Can Stars, powered by the Iron Dames. They bring out two very strong horses already in round 1. Messi van het Ruitershof alongside In Flame Go of Kim Emmen. On the other side, further down on the starting order, and that is for me favorites in round 1. And if they stick to their plan that they normally use in 2022 and 2023 about not changing horses, we have to look at Riesenbeck International, powered by Kingsland. They're fairly low on the overall standings on the table so far. I think they're just below midfield. They're 10th at the moment. But Riesenbeck International with Calculatus and Harry Allen, and Zinedine with Philip Weishaupt. That's the team to look out for, I think, in round 1, possibly also in round 2. And don't forget that Zinedine, the horse of Philip Weishaupt, is the horse with the perfect record from 2023, the horse that hasn't made a single fault, hasn't had a single rail. So that's the horse that we're all waiting to see if he can continue that clear round streak, Mark, also in 2024.
All right, Frederik de Backer, some big favorites being pointed out, and a really good point around Zinedine and Riesenbeck International. Can that perfect streak continue? Well, that is the big call here. Riesenbeck International, much like Shanghai Swans, disappointing start based on their high standards to the 2024 season. Are they going to turn things around this weekend? They come out in 10th place today. They find themselves 8th on the table. So a big turnaround required for the two-time reigning and defending Global Champions League winners. Talking about Global Champions League winners, let's remind you as to who won in Mexico. It's been an outstanding run for the Prague Lions, powered by the Czech equestrian team recently. Let's look back at that famous win in Mexico City.
Welcome to that colorful city. Mexico City welcomes the third stage of the league. New York Empire, powered by Lugano Diamonds, to follow the lead of Dennis Lynch. And how about the time allowed? He's going to make it 3 clears from the team this weekend. And the pressure is mounted. Riesenbeck International, powered by Kingsland. Oh, and it's gone. The last fence is gone. Monaco Aces, powered by Line of Porches. All the blanket to the Dream drops behind New York Empire, powered by Lugano Diamonds. Prague Lions, powered by the Czech equestrian team, are going to ride for the victory. Fernando Martinez Sommer to jump double clear on Lady van der Harterhoeven to give Thibaut Spitz 12 penalties in hand. He's over the last and he's in the time. He's in the time. Thibaut Spitz, it's all in his hands. He's going to turn the world upside down. They're going to take the lead in the championship. Thibaut Spitz, Prague Lions, they've won the stage here. They have won the stage, and the winners are Prague Lions.
It's been a lot better than expected, to be honest. I know Fernando was really motivated here, so I couldn't let him down. No, it's just amazing, this win, it's unbelievable.
It's great to be here in Mexico. You know, it's a special feeling with all friends and family. So definitely this was the show to be for me. Gracias, Mexico.
So, a wonderful victory for the Prague Lions a few weeks back in Mexico. Peter de Vos comes in for Fernando Martinez Sommer this weekend. Back to Frederik de Backer we go, because, Frederik, we want to find out more about this course walk. Back to a traditional course walk for you. And correct me if I'm wrong, 2 course designers here this weekend. Help us understand that. What's been going on? What is prepared for Shanghai?
Yeah, that's true, Mark. Actually, the official designer of these courses is Ojano Vedzani, but he is being assisted by Peter Grant, who we got to know once again, of course, in Miami and in Mexico. So Peter Grant here as assistant for Ojano Vedzani. That's actually double the power. That sounds a little bit like Harry Allen and Philip Weishaupt in one team, if you're talking about course designers. I just want to show you the detail here on this Chinese castle. It's beautifully done. Chinese palace. It's a bit of the blend of the Chinese culture here in this state-of-the-art facility that is the Shanghai Youth Equestrian Stadium, the Canyon Stadium as it is called. First 4 fences, first 3 fences behind us. This is fence 4. It's into the corner. It's a plank on top, brand new paint on the plank, by the way, as you might see. But it's more about the palace itself. A lot of horses looked at this fence and looked at this construction in the previous class, and that was a little bit difficult for plenty of horses. So now they have to make sure that they keep the focus on the plank and not so much on this castle, on this palace. So this is a first test of straightness, of concentration, of focus. Bravery, heart as well. They can't scare from that fence. And by the way, now that I remember, that actually was the cause of the fall of Thibaut Spitz in one of those meter 45 classes yesterday. So keep that in mind as we progress through both the course swap, but also through round 1, Thibaut Spitz with Calvino. Double combination is then the first really technical part. Double combination with 6 strides over to fence 6. Liverpool at the base. Here are the Prague Lions with that red armband indicating that they are the leaders. By the way, it is the biggest lead, or it's the biggest gap on the championship table. Normally you would see a gap maybe between place 6 and place 7, but no, those 12 points is the biggest gap that any team has compared to the team ranked below them. So they actually have quite a comfortable position on the championship standings. It'll be up to, for example, Ken Stars, powered by Iron Danes, Mexico Amigos, Stockholm Hearts, powered by HM Wheel of Horses, to catch up and close that gap. Maybe another technical line that we have to talk about is this line from 7 to 8. You're being forced wide around the turn to make it up to this oxer, so you get quite straight. It's quite a long, straight approach to this fence. And then you go into the triple combination, and that is 8A, 8B, and 8C. So triple combination with vertical coming in. Now, if you walk your strides, if you get a nice swing over that oxer, you have to jump that oxer first before you come into this line. If you get a nice swing over that oxer, you kind of end up, here on your striding, on your 6 strides. But that's actually just, 5 strides. That's actually a touch too deep. So you have to find an extra meter of room to come into that triple combination. So the 5 are a little bit quiet, especially if you get a lot of swing with a big striding horse over that oxer. This is something to watch out for. On the other hand, if you don't have the swing and you want to make sure that you get your strides early, there's a risk of landing on that back rail. And then there was a beautiful saying from one of the riders, I think it was Thibaut Spitz who told me, about the second last line. That's the line from 9 to 10 from the youth fence down to Global Champions League, as we are being swamped here by young riders. Hello, young Chinese talents that we'll see in the future. Hi everybody. Where was I? Oh yeah, 9 to 10. Sorry, I forgot about that. Luckily that Ricardo keeps me focused, my cameraman. Yeah, so we're here. Lots of buzz. I mean, look at this hospitality. I think it's one of the biggest hospitalities that we've ever seen. So lots of noise, lots of buzz coming from here. Though I have to say that the Chinese are very polite. Let's be fair about that. But anyway, jump the yes oxer, and then it's slightly opposite to what I was just discussing coming into the triple combination. If you jump that oxer and you ride a normal 7 strides with a normal striding horse, everything has to be taken into account, you end up kind of like here. So you need to get a little bit closer. So it's a slightly long 7 strides up to fence 10, but it follows straight away with a rollback. And it's one of those cheap fences, you know. There's not much that backs you off. It's not really a difficult line. It's not really special. You're focusing on that last line. I think this is a really cheap fence, and we might see some cheap rails on this fence number 10, which then leads us into the final line of 11 and of 12. Size-wise, big enough. Technicality, okay. Not overly technical, not overly difficult. That's how this feels for me if you walk it. But the cheapness of this fence, for example, of course, that fence 4 that we spent so much time at, the entry into the triple combination mark. In my opinion, those are fences that we need to look out for. And then, of course, time allowed, something that we don't know yet how Ojano Vezzani is going to build this. I just want to point out, for example, this fence, a fence that we normally wouldn't jump mark. It is it's just here as an ornament, and not really as an ornament. It kind of drives you around, because normally you would come from the Liverpool over there, and you would go in here, and literally here over the bush you would approach fence 7. Now Vezzani drives you around, so you lose a little bit of time here in this turn. And maybe that is a way of Vezzani to force you wide and maybe play with the time allowed. We don't see that very often in the first round. We're going to see how it plays out. Like I said, height, it's not small. It's one of the higher first rounds that we normally have. The technicality, however, makes it jumpable. Focus, planning, and make sure that you don't mess up with some unlucky fall, because it does feel jumpable in round 1. But as always, we'll have to see how this is going to play out. Mark, back to you.
Absolutely. Frederik de Backer, thank you very much. How wonderful to have you back on site and showing us some guidelines to what has been designed, as we said, primarily by Ojano Vezzani, but Peter Grant is still providing that profession, is still providing all of his excellence, his insight, as well as the two minds come together for stage 4 of the Global Champions League here this weekend. What about the championship leaders? As Frederik de Backer said, the biggest lead on the table is between 1 and 2. Talks about the start that the team has had. It talks about how strong the Prague Lions have been in the opening stages of the 2024 season. A team that only podiumed twice all season long in 2023 have already done that back-to-back in Miami and Mexico. I took some time to meet up with Peter de Vos to get some reaction to the team's performances.
Of course, we were very delighted with the performances. I think they did a fantastic job. There were only 2 in Mexico, Miami, and they had to do everything on their own. So normally the other stages there was always one of us together, and now they had to do themselves, and they did fantastic. So we were very, very happy.
You coming back into the team this weekend, I'm sure, is a welcome return. Was that always the plan? What brings you back to Shanghai?
I did Doha, and then the plan was for me not to do Mexico, Miami this year. Coming to Shanghai, that was always been the plan. Unfortunately, I didn't come with the horses that I expected to come with, or planned to come with, because of one feeling not 100% and this and that. So it's always it was a bit challenging the last 2 weeks to get the right horses to compete here. But I'm here, I'm ready, and Thibaut also, he came with the same horses as he did his 2 best horses, which was jumping also in Mexico, Miami. So I think he's also in good shape. Fortunately, we are only 2 because Fernando, I think, also needed a little bit of break, and the rest was not, due circumstances, not ready to come. So we will have to do it with 2 here again.
If you take a look at where Prague Lions find themselves on the table now, for a team that struggled for podiums last year, you've done back-to-back podiums now. You are on par with some of the top championship races that we've seen in recent years. Because of the great start, is there a conversation in the team from Anna, from yourselves, about how you can capitalize on this? Can you make it a real championship run this?
It sounds already very good, so I'm very happy with it. But we are also a top team, so I think, yeah, of course, this gives a little bit extra motivation to go forward. It will not be easy like always. I mean, nothing. The beginning of the season says nothing, but at the end says also something. I mean, like I said, the motivation is there, and we are a little bit in lack of horses and riders at the moment. But we are where we are today, so we have to try to keep this position, and we will do everything we can to maintain this. And yeah, as I said, it will not be easy, but the motivation of all of us is there, and we have good conversations to make the best possible plan for the next few shows.
Peter de Vos still remaining quite humble and not allowing himself to get too far ahead in this championship run. But the way they are jumping, the form that they have exhibited, the performances from Fernando Martinez Soma and Thibaut Spitz over Miami and Mexico, now to welcome Peter de Vos back into the squad and knowing that there is a busy summer to come. Forget talking about Prague Lions getting into the top 4 for a GCL Super Cup semi-final. Is this going to be a championship run for the team powered by the Czech equestrian team? That is the big question. Where do the teams come out today? That becomes another big question. What does the start list look like for today's Global Champions League round 1? How has the draw gone? Madrid Emotion are the first team to come out. Roger Eve Boston, Mark Macaulay will jump for them. Rome Gladiators, powered by ClipMyHorse.tv, welcome Marco Kutscher into the lineup alongside Nina Malavey. Doha Falcons, they are looking strong again today. Julien Acatin and Jerome Guerry. Shanghai Swans, we mentioned them. They are quite early to go. Prague Lions, championship leaders just before the break. Can Stars, well, they led after Doha and were joint leaders going into Miami. They are 8th. Falconswart United, a great draw for them. They will be the last team to go. And the Istanbul Warriors, powered by Carpe Diem, who, in fact, by the way, this weekend bring Angelica Augustin Zanotelli into the lineup. Remember that Rule 2.5 that we spoke about in Mexico that saw Richard Vogel come in for Razorback International? Well, Istanbul Warriors are now utilizing Rule 2.5 as well and bring Angelica Augustin Zanotelli into the lineup. Istanbul Warriors will be the 12th team to go later on today. That is how the start list looks for Global Champions League round 1. Can Stars, we mentioned them, big talking points and a really strong lineup. Strong intention, strong statement being made by the Cannes Stars, powered by the Iron Dames. Rosie Tapner is with them to get some thoughts and insight into their decision.
One of the teams that we are really following, and they look incredibly strong this weekend. Jana with me now, one of the team members for this weekend. We're really interested though, Jana, because we looked at the start list, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like you've brought some of your better horses into round 1. Why did you do this?
Okay, we have really experienced horses and we have upcoming horses, and of course we try to be good here in Shanghai, and we were thinking a little bit yesterday that maybe for the first round we already take the experienced horses. For example, Messi, my best horse at the moment, had a break yesterday, so he had a little bit of a rest, and that's why I will jump him twice today.
So you're going to be jumping Messi twice today. What about for Kim? What will Kim be doing for the round 2?
I think she will do the same, but of course after each round we come together and speak. I mean, you know how it is with horses and animals. You have to see how they feel and how the round was, and afterwards we speak to Stefano and make a good plan for the next round.
So this is very much a power play for the Cannes Stars then this weekend, hopefully jumping both horses, both Grand Prix horses for both rounds.
We try to have the best team, and also Sanne has a very good horse, but yeah, I think we see how this round goes, and afterwards we speak again.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
So it's a good comment from Rosie Tapner, a bit of a power move from the Cannes Stars, because Kim Emmen with In Flame Go and Jana Fredrika Meyer-Zimmermann on Messi in Global Champions League round 1. That is a huge statement from them to try and set themselves up for success in GCL round 2 later on tonight. We take a quick break. When we return, we meet the first ever selected Chinese rider for the Global Champions League and catch up with Razorback International, powered by Kingsland. That and more here on GCTV. Razorback International, powered by Kingsland, also make a big statement here as we return to Shanghai. Welcome back to GCTV. This is stage 4 of the Global Champions League, and we are very excited to have Philipp Weishaupt return to GCL. We haven't seen him for quite some time, and finally the superstar makes a return. He is alongside Rosie Tapner. Rosie, let's hear from Philipp Weishaupt, and let's find out how he is feeling along with his Kingsland powered by team Razorback International.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. It's great to have Philipp here, as you said. And the team are making a really big statement this weekend, coming in with 2 of your top horses straight away. What was the thinking around that?
So far, the season didn't went completely perfect. So we have to make sure we are good this week. So we brought, Harry brought his best horse, and I brought my best horse, just to make sure we're going to climb up again a little bit.
This is your first time riding with Harry in the team as well. Have you had chats before? What have your team tactics been discussing?
The team tactics are actually every weekend the same, jump and clear around. So I don't have to tell him that. He's young, but he's experienced enough to know that the clear round is better than knocking jumps down. So he knows his job, and I feel confidence with him to jump in the team.
You've just had a little look at the course. What do you think is going to be the biggest problems there?
The course is big, but fair enough for the first round. I think the triple combination is quite tricky. We have new jumps here, I think, designed here in China. They look a little different than the ones we're used to. Everything is brand new, so let's see how that works.
Going into round 2, after round 1, you're going to stick with these 2 horses?
If everything goes well, yes.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Philipp Weishaupt identifying a couple things in that catch-up, just by the way. Big fences, fair though. He identifies the triple combination and the fact that there are some new fences that have been designed here in China that perhaps a lot of the riders coming from Europe then might not have had too much experience seeing. So, how's it going to play out? Peter Grant and Uliana Vizani coming together today in somewhat of a joint effort to design Shanghai. Although a lot of the excitement from the crowd in particular is going to surface around local riders. And for the first time ever, the Global Champions League has a Chinese rider. For the Scandinavian Vikings, and whilst he may not be jumping here today in Global Champions League, he has been introduced into the team as we get to meet Xin Yupeng.
Qingyu, it's lovely to have you here in Shanghai. Tell me a little bit about yourself. When did horses come into your life?
Well, when I was 15, I was studying abroad, and I saw many horses on the road, like policemen, and I found out I really want to be with the horses. Then I tried, and I go to competition, and there's one time I get into the podium, and then I just continued everything.
How old are you now, though?
23-year-old.
So you're only 23 and you only started when you're 15. That's not very long to go from nothing to here in Shanghai.
Yeah, also, I think also maybe it's 1 year too early, like, to do all this. But I have good string of horses, but I think I should try no matter what. Like, I think it's time to do something.
In terms of your training then, it's been such a short time since you've been riding. Who's been helping you?
I train with Bertrand and Harry in Germany. I go to their stable like 3-4 years ago.
This is the first time you're going to be jumping at this level. Have you had any kind of experience at this level at all?
Nope, not at all. Not even at home. But I try my best to give my best ride.
You're in China, you're a Chinese rider. Can you imagine what it's going to be like?
I think it's going to be very cool. Also make me a bit nervous, but also good thing, because sometimes I always think I'm not nervous enough.
What will it mean to you to have a home crowd here cheering you on?
Yeah, also first, I feel really proud that I come back. Also, this stadium, I think it's one of the best in the world. It's really good to have such a good stadium like for horses, like in China, like really happy.
What does it mean to be on the team for GCL this week?
It's very good. Also, we're honored to be involved with those talented people. They're like my whole time idols, all that. Yeah, just very honored to be involved. Try to give my best ride.
You're a man of many talents. What other hobbies do you have?
I do music. I write songs and also I sing.
You actually trained in music though, didn't you?
Yeah, I studied in Boston. It's Berklee College of Music. Many good people graduate from there, like Charlie Puth, people like that. They graduate there. I do pop music, maybe some rhythm and blues, maybe. Although I published one music in English song called "I Love You First." People can hear that on YouTube or Spotify or music, Apple Music. They can all hear that.
How do you juggle then the horses and the training and coming to places like this and your music?
It's part of my life now. So try to make both things work.
A young man of many talents and setting some new standards, breaking new ground. The first ever Chinese rider selected on a global Champions League team for the Scandinavian Vikings. Xin Yupeng, still a very young man, and we imagine that we're going to be seeing a lot of him in the future. Nice to have him on board. Thank you very much for joining us here on GCTV. The first class of the afternoon is getting underway in a few moments' time, and we'll show you that live here on GCTV. Stay with us then, of course, for the team competition to come later on today. Thank you for joining us. This is Shanghai. This is Stage 4. Welcome to Global Champions.
Well, hello and welcome to Shanghai, ladies and gentlemen, for a beautiful Saturday here in this beautiful Chinese city of millions, the city that never sleeps in Asia. It is Shanghai, and it is this. Oh, I still can't find the words how to describe this brand new state-of-the-art equestrian facility, the Canyon Stadium, the Shanghai Youth Equestrian Center here in the heart of Shanghai, where around 5,000 people will join us for a great day. It's Saturday, it's Global Champions League Day, round 1, round 2 coming up, as well as the Grand Prix qualifier. And next to that, of course, tomorrow it is the big Grand Prix day. GCL, as mentioned, Global Champions League with Prague Lions leading the table. And they with the biggest gap on the standings. They've got a 12-point lead on the teams that follow in their wake, in their footsteps. But the Lions come out with an experimental team, you could call it, here for round 1, at least, even round 2, if you think about it. We'll talk about that later, because first we have 8 individual combinations that will take up the course, not built by Peter Grant, but built by this man, by Ojano Vedzani. Time allowed set at 84 seconds. And that feels actually fairly generous. I've walked the course myself, and yeah, in fairness, it's generous, those 84. Well, in the end, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But 84 seems like it's not the biggest problem of the course. Maybe there are other issues about this course that Vedzani and Grant have put up together. 8 individuals, and look at that, even the roof. Well, you will see the roof in round 2 during the night. There's an LED structure inside the roof for helicopters and planes flying over, or our drone. But the other roofs are filled with greenery, mosses and grasses, for Shanghai to become a greener city. We haven't been here for the last 5 years, and there is a significant change over those 5 years, half a decade, with more and more green in the city, more forests, more trees, more plants, more flowers, more color, of course, as they move away from industrialization and move closer to a city where people can actually really live and improve the quality of living. You can see there on the top left why they call this the Canyon Stadium, because it has a bit of a canyon feeling in that big splits at the top of your screen. This is the starting order. The first 8 come in as individuals. Tough to go first, and we'll show you that once more, that starting order. Don't worry about that. First 8
Jodie Hall-McAtee, who is already a winner this weekend, and then the rest of the group as we start there with teams. Roger Bost makes his big return to the team of Madrid in motion alongside Mark McCauley, and then Rome Gladiators with Nina Malver, Marco Kutscher, Doha Falcons, Tovek, and the return of Hendrik van Eckermann, the leaders with Spitz and De Vos. The challengers, the chasers with Kim Emmen and Janne Frederike Meijer. And there we move through the ranks and through the starting order. Angelica Augustsson-Zanotelli. Wait a minute, she wasn't on the original teams list. That's true. We'll talk about that later. Angelica Augustsson-Zanotelli has used, or the team Istanbul Warriors, powered by Carpe Diem, have used the rule 2.5, if I'm right, in the rule book of Global Champions League, that if riders are injured for more than 45 days, they can't ride for 45 days, you can bring in a new rider even outside the transfer periods, which is coming up, by the way. And so there are some changes. And Angelica Augustsson-Zanotelli has come in. Here we go. First to go in, and it's Michael Duffy with Dublin. Duffy on the stallion by Cascadello and Balou-du-Rouet. And yesterday, Cascadello, or Dublin rather, a little bit tensed, struggled a bit in the course. And Duffy not riding on the Rome Gladiators team in round one. Might come in for round two on Cantano. That's always that he also has here. And still you can see that Dublin has his eyes wide open here. Straightforward is not really comfortable just yet, but maybe that can develop over the course in the guiding hands of the Miami winner. That was a win on Clap d'Ormouche. The G on the saddle pad, referring to G Sport horses, co-owners of Dublin. And Duffy has to work. There comes that first fence for Duffy. Standard 8 follow next. He makes it 7, yeah, and the Chinese are enjoying it because it's quite spectacular. And there's a lot of noise coming from the grandstands, but that doesn't make it easier for Duffy, nor for Dublin. So Duffy riding with a bit more pressure than normal, just to keep Dublin in front of his leg and moving forward. He's doing a heck of a job at it. Wow, that's long. He saw a 5 and he rode a 5, and normally it's 6. This is a 5 next. Jumps the combination. He had to ride with that pressure, and then gets a touch deep to the Oxer at 7 and lands on the back rail. Now he's on 8. Last line for Duffy. Step by step, Dublin relaxing a little bit. And finishes with a fairly good feeling there, Michael Duffy with the Dublin. Not the easiest round for the Irishman, nor for the Hanoverian bred. An improvement on yesterday. First of the Chinese in this class is Ella Yunjing Wang. Ella Wang with Kidamia. Lovely mare, this Kidamia by Kidam de Revel and Cassini. Horse that she, I believe, also rode at the World Championships in Herning. There in the background, on the right actually, the guy who peeks from behind the red man's dress, or the red man's back. That is Vincent Lambert. That is the trainer of Ella Yunjing Wang. Registered in the Luxembourg Stadtbook. Stand at 8, little rub. Inside to fence 3. It's coming out of the turn. Oh, that's a deep one. Good effort from the mare. The Chinese Palace with a plank on top. Good reaction from Ella. For an instant there, Kidamia had a look at the Palace. Now again. Ella Wang with the right reaction at the right time. Slow 5 in. Ooh, and Kidamia with a lot of effort. Holding in that line, riding the extra stride instead of going for the open approach. There's a bit of an option there. And with a time allowed of 84 seconds, Ella Wang is going to ride it clear here. Oh, it's the last one where she really goes past the distance, past the point of takeoff, and that makes it 4, but it was a great effort from Ella Wang. In front of home crowd. She's based in Belgium normally. So a return to China, to this brand new stadium, and nearly got it clear on the board. There was no chance for Kidamia. Duarte Sibra en Jalalabad de Rêve. Duarte, the Portuguese rider who does not ride on the Monaco Aces this weekend, or at least not in round 1. That's reserved for Grégory Cotard, who makes his debut alongside Inès Joly. Monaco Aces powered by a line of Porsches. Oh, and Jalalabad looks down at the Liverpool on a fairly standard 6 strides. And I think surprised. Duarte Sibra, stretch now. That was quite the effort. Really slowed down at the second vertical. Time seems generous enough. Ella Wang was in on 84 seconds, on 80 seconds. Time allowed is 84, apologies. And also Duarte Sibra uses all the time he needs on course and is going to finish inside the time allowed, so there's not really time pressure. As also Duarte is faulted on the final fence at fence 12, making it 8 in total. Duarte Sibra and Jalalabad de Rêve. In this class worth 140,000 euros. So significant prize money in this competition. Surprising how now 2 got really deep to that final oxer. Next man in, Italian Emanuele Gaudiano, who's looking for a bit of luck. Plenty of competitive efforts over the last few stages on the tour, but never resulted in a win. And it's not going to happen this time. Emanuele Gaudiano, like we said, looking for some luck. Yesterday, fastest time in the speed class, last fence down. Vasco by Vivant, Van de Heffink and Chaco Blue. And also this horse quite tense in this ring. Oh, and he grabs the bit and runs out. Gaudiano knows he has to steer away as Vasco took over from Gaudiano. And then there's nothing left for the Italian to do than to retire. Come back another day, I'm afraid. Emanuele Gaudiano with Vasco. Maybe there's new chances tomorrow. He's got Julius here that we'll see, no doubt, in the Media 60 class, the Grand Prix qualifier in the afternoon. In that class where Gaudiano had that fast time, but the 4 penalties on the last, this man came second. He was beaten by Julien Aucotin. Well, came second on this very same horse, on Feromas van Beek, Gilles Thomas, and his 12-year-old stallion. He's a supple and athletic horse, this Feromas, and that shows when he brings that hind end up. Look at that, just over the back rail though, and he has to be careful with that because there's a few big officers coming next. And I think Gilles Thomas feels it, that is a little bit tense. He gets a bit careful. Yeah, there you have it. And he was going up more than he was going forwards. And then lacked a little bit of confidence on the deep stride. Thomas couldn't go for the open approach, had to hold him. And then the deep stride was too deep for Feromas. And Gilles Thomas retires. That's a disappointment for the Belgian. After yesterday's outstanding performance, now he has to retire, and luckily that he did not compete on Valkenswaard United's, his GCL team. That team now made up of Edwina Tops-Alexander and Marcus Ening. Thomas can come back in round 2, that could happen with Luna van het Dennenhof. But I heard through the grapevine that might actually be the plan. As you can see, not Iron Danes, Can-Stars powered by Iron Danes, riding as individual as Salatijse with Cum Laude. And rolls that first fence as Cum Laude also seems a touch tense. was late in picking up that right front leg. Now jumping more through his body. Well supported there, Sartijsen. Knew that yesterday they struggled at the Liverpools, and today, well, has the rail, but he jumped it already with much more confidence, cum laude, and that is a positive sign. But he's not being himself this weekend. There again, total is at 22 fences left to jump. Will be good for the time, but score-wise and jumping-wise, this is not how we know cum laude at all. 24 in 82.87. Another somewhat ironically good call from the Iron Dames team, just like we had it earlier with Gilles Thomas. Luckily that this result does not stand on the scorecard of the Can Stars powered by Iron Dames.
Great canvas and University in Shanghai, one of the fastest riders in the world. Winner, who is also the big Grand Prix in the Milan back in February. Set by centre for Brazil's Marcelo Zanotelli.
The ladies in the grandstands in the colours of the Iron Dames as we move over to Marlon Modolo Zanotelli. Yesterday as the first to go in the speed class. Amazing performance. In the end, it wasn't enough for the win. It was 6th, I believe. But with this Zizento, he was first to go and straight away laid down the gauntlet. And it needed a very fast Harry Allen, Gilles Thomas, and the eventual winner, Julien Cotin, to keep him off the win. And he really played to the strengths of Zizento by the stallion Zento. And now, as if he's riding a hunter class, light in his saddle, letting the horse as long as possible for the horse to balance himself. Oh, class over 3. Marcus Zaning gets a lot of praise, but sometimes this man can ride rounds that you can learn so much from. Here sits up and then quietly gets his 6. Always in the same rhythm, same connection. And of course you need to have your horse on point for it, but that's also a part that he has perfected over the years. And then ultra quick in his legs, how he jumped that C part. It looked like he would run too deep, but then backed off, and he was so fast, so reactive, this Zizento. That's annual by Zento and Indoctro, owned by Jose Maria La Roca. And he's just cruising around, and nobody has gone clear so far, ladies and gentlemen. Marlon Zanotelli. And that's the first time that he really has to interfere with the striding of Zizento. Only in the last line. Sets him up once for that oxen and finishes in 72.53 seconds. Marlon Modolo Zanotelli, with a thumbs up to the crowd, happy with how it felt. And a big smile as he comes out of that ring. He knows that maybe he can do some damage with his horse tomorrow, and there in that combination, the quickness, the reactivity from the gelding.
This partnership yesterday, one of the very first class launching global champions tour of Shanghai in great style. They do the double, riding close to Henry from Great Britain, doing it all, and it's here.
Zanotelli leads 72.53. This is yesterday's winner, Kimozavad Kritrahov. And Team GB's Jody Hall-McAteer, also Team New York Empire, powered by Lugano Diamonds. A strong effort from McAteer and Kimosa, who slowed down for both verticals in the triple. And then, like many horses, needed that big effort to jump that Oxer coming out of the triple combination. McAteer, last line, 72.53 of Zanotelli, who checked once in this line. So does McAteer. Deep strike to the last and gets over, and the time is 72.71, meaning that she is less than 0.2 of a second behind Zanotelli. But it is yet again a clear for Kimosa van het Krieterhof, who is feeling very well here on Chinese soil. Second place as it stands, and these are the standings. Zanotelli leads just in front of Jody Hall-McAteer, the four of Ella Wang, and then Duffy, Shibra and Sanne Thijssen. That's all from the individuals. Let's go with round one Global Champions League live from Shanghai.
Ni hao, welcome, hello, welcome to Global Champions League 2024. Welcome to Shanghai, ladies and gentlemen. We are indeed in China for round 4 of the Global Champions League. And after a wait of 5 years, we have been here for the last time in 2019. And now we return to a brand new facility, a brand new venue. After the World Expo site where we were in 2018, 2019, those days we've crossed the highway to a different venue, different location, and we've made it into the Shanghai Youth Equestrian Center, a brand new facility, brand new stadium. This is the first ever event that is being held in this state-of-the-art facility, not just state-of-the-art, the design is mind-blowing, mind-boggling. It's a cloudy day, and what I've been told, it's actually quite fresh for the time of the year, quite chilly for the time of the year here in Shanghai, as we hover over the Green Park at the outskirts of downtown Shanghai. And this is the Youth International Equestrian Center. It's Uyana Vedzani who has come up with the course and also has got beautiful dimensions to work with, as you can see, 90 by 60 meters as we swivel, turn and pivot into the ring and start at fence 1 for once. Fence 1, 8 strides, very standard, by the big grandstand on the long side, and a rollback down to fence 3. It's not really a rollback as we know it from the jump-offs. It's a 180 turn, that's true, but there's plenty of room and it's not really a rush in that first turn. The Chinese Palace flanks a blank at the vertical. The Chinese Palace is quite spectacular to look at, and the horses often find the same of that fence. First of the double combinations, we've got 2 doubles in this course, 5A, 5B. That's Oxer vertical. There's 1 stride inside, and then it is 6 strides to a Liverpool upright in the direction of the in-gate. Next, you're being forced by an ornament to go wide in the approach to fence 7, and that is a bulky Oxer, big red fillers underneath, and then a very quiet 5 strides into the triple combination. So you need to make sure you get quite a jump over the Oxer first, that your horse doesn't go too high. A high jump does give you a steep landing, but you don't want to land on the back rail, and then a quiet 5 in, not overly tall, the entry into the triple combination. The horses will back off as they progress through that triple, because it's also, as you can see, in the direction of the big video screen in the background, so horses do slow down and back off. And then this is the challenge. The jump out of the triple over that Oxer is what the focus will be on the most. Depending on how well your horse feels, there's an open approach or a quiet approach in this line from youth events at 9 down to Global Champions League at 10. Rollback to 11. Very pale rails blend in with the surface, the ground that we're jumping on. And then on a dog leg, it's very easy to hug a little bit the turn, just fall inside. You have to stay out a little bit to make sure you find a fitting distance and don't get sucked in too deep for that final Oxer at fence 12. Not overly long this course, 84 seconds is the time allowed. And Uyana Vedzani and Peter Grant, well, they have been building this course together. Those are 2 top course designers on the Longines Global Champions Tour. Next will be Santiago Varela in Madrid in 2 weeks' time. But now we keep our focus on this course as it is built at the moment. And there the tractor hovering between fence 5 and fence 6, sorry, fence 7 and fence 8. The line into the triple combination on the quiet 5 strides. Lots of hats, lots of fancy dresses and suits for this social gathering here in Shanghai. It's actually the first 5-star event in 5 years' time in China. Of course, the pandemic has everything to do with that, but it also emphasizes the importance of global champions here in the region. Madrid Emotion, the first team to go with a big return. Roger Yves Bost alongside Mark Macaulay, who's still on a perfect record. Rome Gladiators, powered by ClipMyHorse.tv, Nina Malvin and Marco Kutscher. Then Doha Falcons with the 2 fast riders, Julia Anquetin and Jérôme Guéry.
They are the dark horses for the round one lead. Mexico Amigos high on the rankings as they stand. Nadja Peter-Steiner and Mike Kawai Amigos are third. Then Shanghai Swans, different story. They are last, 14th team on the standings, are fifth to go with Pius Schwitzer, who makes a big return alongside Daniel Deuser. Scandinavian Vikings just in front of him, 13th on the standings with Tovek and Von Eckermann, an all-Swedish lineup, as you know. The championship leaders, Prague Lions, powered by Czech Equestrian Team, Thibaut Spitz and Peter de Vos. De Vos on a newcomer, Caramba de Peloton. Second on the standings, Scan Stars, powered by Iron Dames with Kim Emmen in Flame alongside Janne Frederike Maier. Then Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M Wheel of Horses. Again, top four in the championship. Riesenbeck International, powered by Kingsland with Harry Allen and Philip Weishaupt. Two very, very talented horses and talented riders for the team that won the championship twice, currently sit in 8th place. Monaco Aces, powered by a line of Porsches. First appearance for Grégory Cotard with Ines Joly by his side. And there the first appearance for Angelica Augusson-Zanotelli on Istanbul Warriors, powered by Carpe Diem Equestrian Team. We'll talk about that later on. New York Empire already a win on their belt in Mexico. Can they continue on that flow? Dennis Lynch, Spencer Smith, they also have Jody Hall-McAtee here, and then Valkenswaard United. There's a last to go. Edwina Taps-Alexander, Marcus Eding and Gilles Thomas are here for the stage in Shanghai to take the team up from 11th and towards higher ranks, higher positions on the championship standings. As we said, suits, dresses, some beautiful hats and lots of children. So equestrianism and show jumping is growing here in Shanghai. Lots of young kids, there you have those beautiful hats. Lots of young kids in their competition outfits in the grandstands. It's a very cute sight. There in the background you can see some white breeches and some all black riding jackets. Lots of enthusiasm for the return of Global Champions and Global Champions League here to Shanghai. Madrid in motion at the moment in 10th position on the standings. So far has not really been their season. Their best results was 7th place in Miami Beach. For the rest, they were really under par, 9th and 10th in a field of 14. So not the season that they know, because let's be fair, 2023, 2024 ended very well for them, especially 23, I have to say. 24 was also difficult. 23, they were a top 3 team on the final standings. Team that won, of course, the first ever Super Cup back in 2018 in Prague, a Super Cup that will now be held in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Macaulay had one appearance, that was in Doha for Roger Bosts. It's his first appearance for this team. He is one of 2 new signings for this season alongside Yoli Midlineu. Roger Yves Bosts with his French-bred mare, Ballerine du Villepillon. The mare by Balouvet du Rouet. Standard 8 in the first line. The turn back to the first Liverpool oxer of Longines. And now comes a tricky fence. Look at that palace and the plank. What are you looking at? What's your focus? It has to be the plank for the horses. Round bust he comes to the double and the standard 6 to another Liverpool upright. Has to hold for the 6. Did you see that? And now, quiet 5 into the triple. And a little tug on the rail, and he knew that he was coming in too fast and too deep, and he tried to help Ballerine du Villepillon, but it was too late in organizing himself for that combination. And so the first vertical is down, and that's 8A for Roger Yves Bosts and Ballerine. the finish on 4. Time's good, 84 seconds. Time allowed, he's 73.81. So that went well for Roger Yves Bost. And Ballerine de Villebion, but Madrid, no clear. Madrid as a team with a 25% clear round rate. And keep in mind that they've jumped 12 rounds, now 13, including 6 from Aznar and 5 from Van der Vleuten. This man is at 100%. He rode 1 round only, but that went clear. That was in Doha. Now he's in with the Django Saint-Hermel. Oh, and it's a first one for Mark McCauley and for Django. And straight the team to 8, as you can see on the graphic, bottom right. Tough start for Mark McCauley and for Madrid in motion. More normal.